Our top story today, starting tomorrow, Malaysia will be in lockdown until the end of the month. All travel in and out of the country will not be allowed. Malaysia Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin called on Malaysians to not panic and stay calm. The restricted movement order is part of the government's aim to stem the rising number of coronavirus cases.
The order includes a ban on mass gatherings, including religious, sports, social and cultural events. All houses of worship and businesses are to close, except supermarkets, markets, mini-markets and convenience stores.
All schools and universities will be closed as well. All government and private premises will be closed except those in essential services.
All Malaysians will be barred from travelling abroad. For those who are returning from overseas, they must undergo a health inspection and self-quarantine for 14 days. There will also be a ban on all foreign tourists and visitors.
Joining us now from Kuala Lumpur is Malaysia Bureau Chief Shannon Teoh. Thanks for taking the time, Shannon. Now, the movement order kicks in tomorrow. How would you describe this? Would you even call it sudden?
I guess it is quite sudden. We've been hearing word of potential lockdown from Sunday when the health minister said that he would meet with the Defence Ministry and the Prime Minister's office on Monday. So people were anticipating that something would be announced. Now that it is gone as far as a restriction of movement order and all that it entails, did surprise some. And in my own personal view, it is quite drastic.
Shannon, what has the public's reaction been to the announcement?
So many who have called for some kind of lockdown or some kind of control measures, especially in light of the escalating number of cases since that whole Tabligh event where one person managed to infect what has become 300 over cases right now. That's about 60% of all Malaysian cases. There has been a lot of outcry for some kind of lockdown, some kind of measure. And so the government has responded and most people are happy that something at least has been done. However, there is a segment of people, especially business owners, who are now worried about how they're going to pay their bills, how they're going to keep their businesses running. Hotels, for example, already have guests in-house. Are they supposed to close tomorrow and just kick everyone out? So these are questions that have not been answered.
Shannon, now this is, of course, Mr. Muhyiddin's first big move as Prime Minister. Weighing the pros and cons of this order, for example, slowing the spread versus economic hits, how much hinges on how Mr. Muhyiddin handles this situation?
So some people have been saying that this is probably the worst time to take over the Malaysian government and that Pakatan Harapan got out just in time. But jokes aside, for Muhyiddin, of course, this is both a big test but also a big opportunity to show his leadership material. Right now, the decision is probably welcomed by most, but the question has been that there has been a lack of information. So for example, I think in Singapore, we've been concerned about whether people can still cross the border to go to work. Apparently you can't. These details were not outlined in his speech, nor was it communicated in the hours after. It had to only roll out this afternoon, and in some cases it might already be too late for people to put in contingency plans. So I think the policies are being rolled out. Yesterday, a few hours before he announced the restriction, he also announced some economic measures, some stimulus packages. So the plans are there, but it has to be communicated. People have to know what's happening, what they're getting, and then they can react and we can actually make the most out of these measures. Right now, there are a lot of people asking questions. Can I make interstate travels? Is the banks going to be open? So you still have those kind of questions that are floating around.
Well, thank you so much for your insights, Shannon.
Sure, thanks.
That was Malaysia Bureau Chief Shannon Teoh on his country's partial lockdown, which kicks in tomorrow. Let us know your thoughts on it by leaving a comment below.